So this is something that I don't think gets enough attention when it comes to ADA. And really, I think people forget how little resistance there is when it comes to ADA price moving higher than these levels that we're at currently. There is not a whole lot standing in ADA's way for running to a new all-time high. And in fact, even some of the people that have been saying ADA wasn't going to do well, they're coming back around and actually have a very bullish outlook on ADA for the future. And I want to have this discussion with you guys. I'm Luckside. Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So like we talked about earlier today, these types of days, this type of consolidation, profit taking we're seeing is an important thing. And right now, ADA is just kind of chopping around. We're going to see a lot of volatility as the day goes on. I don't know what the price is going to be at the time this video comes out. This is actually about 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll see what that looks like. But the thing I want to say is there's not really a whole lot standing in ADA's way between here and all-time highs. Okay. Why I'm saying that is, we could chart this into infinity. We could look at all these Fibonacci levels of, $1.60, $2.50 as being kind of points of resistance. And, there are people that do pay attention to that. But what I really want to look at is where people break even. Okay. The highest level of concentration we have above here in terms of people actually breaking even are between $1.27 and $2.10. That's 638,000 addresses. So these are addresses that obviously accumulated during the last bear market cycle, and they've had this long-term conviction. And so the question is, are these people going to be calling it quits there? Is that where they're going to be selling? Are we going to see some significant resistance in there? And this is where things get a little tricky in these market cycles. So we're at this point where we're working our way towards new highs. We're into the early part of the bull market cycle, right? We're getting close to alt season. And what you see during this time, the bear market cycle, the early part of the bull, is you have this washout of people that are calling it quits, that just want to get their money back, that just want to move on. All right. And that is why, for example, when we look at this holding time of transacted coins during the early part of the market cycle, you see a lot more long-term average hold time transactions taking place. For example, in May and May, you had a lot of unloading from people that have held ADA for 11 months, a year. Some of these long-term holders that either bought on the way up or bought on the way down leading into the bear market cycle, and they've capitulated, they've dumped their assets. And what you see now is a lot more shorter term transactions. For example, just yesterday alone, the average time transacted was 4 months. The day before that, 3 months. A couple days prior to that was like 2 months as well. So you're seeing more short-term transactions take place. So this is where things get a little bit interesting, because as we work our way into alt season, as we work into bigger times of adoption, what you see is a lot more resilience from holders. So you don't have the long-term holders dumping their assets right now. And the great thing about this is ADA has one of the largest conviction when it comes to community. You had many people that were just basically holding and holding, even when time was down. And this is why I said that strength was very, very high here, because you had these long-minded people that held from the bull market or even from, prior bear markets or the bear market, and they weren't dumping because they saw the much bigger picture. And this is where things really begin to get potentially huge. I'm trying to think about the best way to formulate this, right? Because now we're at a time where you're seeing a lot of these big things come together. A lot of the partnerships, a lot of the ecosystem has been built out in a structurally sound way where the Cardano ecosystem can get now more adoption as a blockchain. Governments are obviously in conversations now too, and people start to second guess when they should be taking profit. You have the resilient people continue to be resilient. And this is where you've had this removal of supply from exchanges become such a big deal. This is why supply shock is starting to play a big factor, but it can become an even bigger factor as time goes on. Now, what I will say is that a lot of people that have had bearish mindsets are changing their bearish mindsets. And I think that's a very big deal, right? We've seen people like BitBoy. I don't talk about him obviously much here on the channel. We've had him change his mind about ADA, about him talking about it doing a lot better. We've had Alex Becker, who's been very bearish on ADA for quite some time, talking about potentially two times prior all-time high for price. I've had people here on the channel who have said, ADA is only going to hit $3, $4, maybe $5, talk about potentially 8, 10, 12. You guys are starting to see a pattern now, where Cardano and ADA are looked at in a very different light than it was again, a month ago during the bear market cycle. And this shift in mindset is a big reason why ADA is doing what it's doing and why the price targets can move up for a lot of people. And this, again, prevents a lot of people from selling at some of these, frankly, cheaper prices. All right. Now, obviously, nobody knows what's going to happen. Things can shift drastically if, partnerships fall through, if we don't get the traction with the government, things like that. Right. But now we're at this point where this ball is starting to roll downhill. And it's very difficult to stop how big Cardano and ADA have gotten. All right. We're at this point now because of the supply removal, because of the conviction, because people are starting to notice what's happening. ADA has the potential to become one of the best performing blue chip assets in this cycle. And frankly, as we work our way up, once we get past like $1.25, $1.50, it's a very short shot to a new all-time high. It's a very short shot to $5, $7. And I think it's going to happen a lot faster than people realize. And the biggest thing we have to just remember is to be patient, to just be, just let the cycle play out how it normally does, because this is where, and again, actually cool. ADA buy signal just popped. I don't know if I mentioned that in my video earlier today, but I was not going to be surprised if we did actually have this pop on the charts here. Look at that buy zone flash. So, and again, I still have my long positions open. You guys know this. really resilient when it comes to ADA and other assets in general. And again, if you guys want to check out my indicator or Margex, there's a link in the description below for you guys. But I have to say the best parts of this market cycle are just ahead of us. And I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys. So appreciate you guys as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.